Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Bradley.
And this is the origin of weird.
But history buffoons.
Yeah.
What she said.
So I've had this story
For a couple weeks. Yep.
So
Bear with us.
yeah.
Bear with her.
Yeah. And the cats are out. So
Let's do this quick like.
okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about His Serene Highness
His Serene Highness.
Gregor the
Gregor the... Why does that sound familiar?
Sovereign Prince of Poyais.
Of where?
Poyais.
Okay.
And cacique of the Poyais Nation. Poyer Nation.
Where is that?
Yeah, I will tell you.
I bet you will.
That sounds fucking fancy as shit,
I
doesn't
mean,
it?
it does. Oliver, don't be a dick.
His Serene Highness Gregor I, Sovereign Prince of Poyais and cacique of the Poyer Nation. Wow, that's a mouthful.
That is a huge mouthful, and I'm just nervous what Oliver's going to do.
He slipped into London with zero fanfare.
Okay.
Okay, so he sounds fancy, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's quite the title for someone who rolled into London, you said?
Yeah, so he came
fanfare?
Yeah, so he came into London in about the 1820s.
Okay.
But within months, he was kind of one of those society people that like brought in a ton of drama, if you will.
Okay.
But let's rewind to about 9 years earlier.
So 1811?
1811, he was 25, Scottish firecracker.
Oh, so he's from Scotland.
Gregor MacGregor.
Gregor MacGregor.
He set sail for Venezuela.
Okay.
Latin America.
Yeah.
His mission was to insert himself into the revolutionary free-for-all that was happening in Latin America.
Okay.
Okay, he wanted to make a name for himself.
Right.
So Latin America between 1808 and 1826 was pretty much on fire.
Okay.
Latin America was inspired by American revolutions and the French revolutions.
Sure.
And they wanted to start breaking up with Spain and Portugal.
Right.
To become their own nation.
Yeah, to be independent.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So between 1810 and 1825, pretty much every Spanish colony in the Americas either started or finished its right for independence.
Okay.
Okay. So Latin America during this time was a gold mine for bold opportunists.
Sure.
Okay. MacGregor.
Yeah.
Gregor MacGregor.
Gregor MacGregor.
He wasn't just bold.
Oh, what did he do?
Oh, he was full on delusional.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is why this setup is perfect.
Okay.
The region was politically unstable.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to figure out who was in charge, if anyone was.
Sure.
Armies were being formed left and right.
Okay.
Foreign military experience was high in demand.
Right.
And everyone thought the land was bursting with riches, gold, silver, mahogany, magical fruit, farting trees. I don't know. You name it.
Farting trees.
But the revolutionary leaders often welcomed outsiders.
Sure.
Who claimed to support their cause.
Okay.
Okay. Back in Europe, there was a huge interest in Latin America.
Sure.
Especially in Britain, where investors were practically throwing money at anything labeled a new world opportunity.
Well, I mean, with Britain, the way they have been throughout history, they conquered a lot.
They sure fucking did.
I mean,
and lost a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially towards the end there. I mean, it's amazing how much land they had. I mean, look, that's where we started from in the States, South Africa, Latin America, Australia. I mean, all these things. India. I mean, a lot of fucking things from them. So
yeah,
they were all about expanding their footprint.
Yes.
So
by 1819,
yeah,
with his military resume stuffed and his ego like supercharged,
okay,
MacGregor found himself a little bored. So because the tide was turning in Latin America and the Spanish were losing ground. Revolutions, they were becoming nations. The peace was beginning to ruin all the fun. But for a man addicted to adventure,
Yeah.
this was a golden opportunity, you see?
Yeah, she?
You see?
Yeah, yeah, she?
MacGregor decided to start his own country.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, he didn't wait for any permission or anything. He was the man. He had it all.
Well,
he was going to do it all.
Honestly, if you're going to just up and start your own country, you don't wait for somebody. Like,
No, that's for amateurs.
hey, do you mind if I do this?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're like, no. So I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to do it. So, yeah, okay. Makes sense.
In 1820,
Yeah.
MacGregor sailed to Mosquito Coast.
I've heard of that. Where is that?
It is in modern day Nicaragua and Honduras.
Oh, duh. I should know
And that is Frankie rubbing up against the microphone.
Yeah. Frankie's like, I'm going to lay on your lap.
So humid AF, right?
Yeah.
It had a messy colonial history, lots of like trading posts from the British,
Okay.
half-hearted settlements. Most of it was kind of long abandoned because it was kind of swallowed up by jungle.
Sure.
It was remote. It was forgotten. It was vague. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So MacGregor managed to convince the local Mosquito leader to grant him a massive swath of land. Okay.
Could you imagine just going like, hey, man, you want to do this? Like, you know what I do?
I do.
Here you go.
I really do.
Okay.
Not sure the king fully understood what was happening.
I'm going to go with probably not.
But MacGregor left the meeting with a signed document, a newfound nation, and an absolutely crazy idea in his head.
Okay.
He went back to London. No longer Gregor MacGregor.
He was King Gregor?
He was Gregor the First, Prince of Poyais.
Poyais. Okay.
A tropical sovereign.
Wow.
The ruler of a glorious new kingdom just waiting for settlers, investors, and suckers, citizens.
Or suckers.
According to His Serene Highness Gregor the First of Poyais, Poyais wasn't just some patch of jungle, it was a paradise in full Technicolor a la Wizard of Oz. Over the rainbow shit.
Did they know about that back in
No.
1820?
Okay, so MacGregor painted a picture of Poyais as a sun-drenched paradise.
Sure.
Where the weather was always perfect. The soil practically was begging you to grow crops.
Well, duh.
And you could basically retire the moment you arrived.
Well, who wouldn't?
There were majestic mountains cloaked in redwood, and mahogany spilled golden rivers into the sea. He claimed the riverbanks were literally made of gold.
That's a bold claim, but okay.
And, quote, gemstones sparkled the hillsides like confetti.
I really don't believe that. I don't think Frankie believes it either. That's why he's getting up.
Sugar, coffee, cotton, and indigo plantations lined scenic roads. Cattle roamed the meadows. Exotic fruits dropped from trees like snacks. Birds were so pretty.
Where'd they drop from?
Trees like snacks.
Okay, because that's not the word you said at first.
Dropped from trees like snacks?
You said freeze.
Okay.
I have literally audio proof. Sorry.
Okay, so Poyais wasn't just a good investment. It was literally like a tropical paradise, a utopia of such, okay?
Sold by MacGregor.
Yes. So his grand pitch, the capital of Poyais, sat proudly at the mouth of a broad, bridge-crossed river,
Okay.
gazing out toward the Atlantic like it knew better than anything else in Central America.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Tree-lined boulevards.
Tree-lined boulevards.
Framed the skyline.
Oh my God.
Sparkling domes.
Duh.
Impressive buildings.
Yeah.
The Royal Palace, Parliament, an opera house, and a grand cathedral.
How did it have all this already?
Exactly.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're talking elegant mansions, big banks, merchant halls that line the streets, warehouses, busy docks.
Was there a mall?
We're going to say there's a mall.
Oh, that's great.
His Serene Highness would parade through the city like a cheap Napoleon.
Cheap Napoleon.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And he was covered in
jewels.
No, the Knights of the Green Cross.
What's that?
Basically, he created an order of chivalry, like
Sure.
his own decor, essentially to
It's like
wear.
Knights of the Round Table kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, Poyais was in Eden, and people
ate
the shit up.
Of course they did, because they don't know. They're from England.
Nope.
They had no idea and didn't know better.
No.
They were being sold a bill of goods that they had no basis on.
Yes. So he opened offices in London and Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he printed maps and guidebooks. He offered land in Poyais at the very reasonable price of 4 shillings per acre, which is $31 an acre.
As of today?
As of today.
Oh, wow. That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
I'd do that.
But a beachside fantasy, fake government.
Fake government?
Shit. Just fake government, everything.
Right.
He even produced a constitution.
Oh, wow.
Engraved currency.
Okay.
Diplomatic documents. Complete with a made-up coat of arms.
Man, he went all out.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had pamphlets, and it was... Yeah, he basically went all out. It was crazy.
No doubt.
And by late 1822, MacGregor had convinced hundreds of people, from poor families to retired officers, that Poyais was their shot at a new life. A better life, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole selling point, honestly.
And so they boarded ships bound for the Caribbean.
Wow. Okay.
And what they found wasn't quite the same thing as what they promised.
Were sold?
Yeah.
How dare he?
Yeah.
I assume he already had the money from them.
Oh, for sure. Yes. So,
I mean, he's selling this fantasy, obviously, is what it is. What happens when they get there and be like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'll tell you. Okay, so he left London with 70 immigrants, and a second vessel sailed a couple months later of 200 more Scottishmen or Englishmen.
God.
Okay.
So 270 between the two ships.
Most had sold all of their possessions and invested their life savings in Poyais.
Right. I mean, because it's not like they had a lot, so they put everything into it.
And they converted all of their sterling into Poyaisian banknotes.
Which was fake.
Yes.
Oh, my.
What they found was a jungle.
I was going to say it was a jungle. That's exactly what I was going to say.
With bugs.
Lots of bugs.
And heat.
Oh, dear.
And fucking no opera house. Like, what the fuck? We don't even have an opera house.
It would have been okay if there was an opera house, but since there's no opera house, this is shit. Well, that's my point, though, is like, he's selling like a palace that's there, an opera house, and what was the other thing? You said something else, I thought, another building. It doesn't matter. But it's like, why, how are you?
Oh, the cathedral.
Yeah, cathedral. It's just like, no. I mean, that's just straight up fucking swindling.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So the voyagers set up makeshift huts and attempted to farm small plots of land, but they were desperate. Within weeks, malaria, yellow fever, dysentery.
Hey, dysentery.
Oh, our favorite dysentery.
Yeah, we love dysentery on this podcast.
Yep. They all swept through the camps.
Oh, of course they did.
So, okay, Oliver,
Oliver, don't be a douche.
Help arrived in May of 1823 when a passing British ship from nearby British Honduras rescued some of the last survivors.
Okay. Oh, so a lot of them were dead.
Oh, about 2/3 died.
Oh, shit.
2/3 died. 150 to 170 people died
out of the 270.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Isn't that awful?
That's fucking terrible.
Yes.
Okay. So did MacGregor get his...
No. So the survivors would return to Britain, or they would settle in Belize and Honduras, which were operated by the Britons.
The British government,
Only a handful ever really made it back to England, but they did in about October 1823 and confirmed the horror that was quote unquote Poyais.
Wow.
So the Poyais tale became a sensational scandal.
Sure.
Newspaper accounts and parliamentary debates quickly exposed the fraud.
Okay.
By 1824, the story was out. The news that Poyais was not an independent and flourishing state had spread, and MacGregor was denounced as an audacious fraud.
Clearly.
Who had duped respectable Britons into investing in a land that never was.
I mean, he was literally just a fucking fraud.
He was.
Simple as that. So, yeah, that's fucking wild.
However, the duped colonists refused to blame MacGregor himself.
Why? He's the one who sold him this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
So the victims instead attacked Poyais' local agents and leaders, suggesting various excuses for the failure. However, he's still considered a leader of Poyais, but whatever. They did not blame MacGregor.
That's so weird.
But the newspapers and Parliament, yes, we are blaming MacGregor. He is the villain.
Well,
yes.
100%. He's the one who convinced these people to go and give up literally all their money for a better life that wasn't there.
Yes.
Holy shit. I mean, I just wanted to go to an opera.
So he left England pretty quietly.
Sure.
In late 1823.
Okay.
He slipped into France. No British court ever tried him.
That's so weird. That's wild.
Even though the House of Commons debate in March 1824 concluded that Poyais was a bogus scheme.
Yeah.
So even as the Poyais fiasco kind of collapsed in Britain, Gregor MacGregor continued his charade in France.
Did he really?
Oh, yes.
And he sold more plots of land that weren't there?
He, again, printed Poyais propaganda, sold bonds and emigration packages to French citizens. He raised about 300 pounds in Paris, which equals to $50 million today.
Holy fuck.
He
really?
raised that much money in Paris.
300 pounds in 1824 is $50 million today?
But authorities seized a ship bound for Colonne des Poyais and grew suspicious. MacGregor was arrested by the French in December 1825 and tried in 1826 on fraud charges.
Okay.
In his trial, he insisted on his innocence.
Well, of course he did, because he didn't want to get killed.
The court, needing proof of intent, ultimately acquitted MacGregor.
Wow.
And the charge was dropped for lack of evidence.
Sure.
Undeterred.
Oh, my God. No.
MacGregor returned to London by 1827 and resumed selling Poyais stock. He issued an 800-pound bond, which is $125 million today, and continued trying to push Poyais in 1828.
That's wild.
By this time, most investors had heard the rumors, but MacGregor still found plenty of backers to buy his bonds because they didn't know.
Because news is a lot different back then than it is today. Wow, that's wild. That's so weird.
Financial crisis in 1825 also bankrupted many dampening further interest. So eventually MacGregor retired the scheme in the late 1830s.
Oh, thank God.
And in 1838...
Late 1830s. So he kept it going for like 15 fucking years.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
In 1838, he sailed for Venezuela, where revolutionaries still remembered him as being a war hero once upon a time.
That's wild.
He was given a pension, a lieutenant general's rank, and a hero's funeral at his death in 1845. He was never successfully prosecuted.
That's so weird.
In France or Britain.
That's just crazy that he could sell that bullshit for so long and nothing ever happened, and he got fucking honors for his death and shit.
He's like the Georgia Tan of 1828.
Georgia Tan's a cunt.
I know, but she was never prosecuted.
No, because she died.
But that is the story.
But he was alive and they tried.
I know.
The French tried. The British is like, yeah, you're cool, man.
But I'm going to say this one more time because I think it's a fantastic title. That is the story of His Serene Highness Gregor I, Sovereign Prince of Poyais and Cacique of the Poyais Nation. Such a fucking mouthful.
That is a huge mouthful. So, Poyais, is there anything there today?
No, it's Mosquito Coast in Venezuela.
And there's just no like settlements.
No, there's nothing.
You know?
No, there's nothing.
Okay, that's crazy. The fact that he could sell this shit for years, for years, and go back to the place where he got like ousted, if you will, but nothing happened to him.
But like all these colonists, or not colonists, but all of these British were like, I want to be a part of the New World.
I want to go there.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great fucking idea. We can make our millions there. I'll give you everything I have here to go do that. And then it's like, oh, fuck.
We're going to die of yellow fever.
No opera house?
Dysentery instead? What?
I traded an opera house for dysentery? That sounds terrible. At least you could sing me to death. Fuck. That's just crazy.
And that's so.
That's so weird, but... Welp.
I suppose.
All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore?
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com. We are Bradley and Kate. Music by Corey Akers.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.